Global warming. Military experts warn of epic humanitarian crisis sparked by climate change. AOL.com reporting. Extinction of species and possible nuclear winter. Now, I've been meaning to say this for a long time. This is just a small article. It's 1 or 2 weeks ago. About I'm pretty sure it's just one drawing from a classic Tintin comic book album that was sold for 1.55 million euros in Paris. Now, and this comes from a total comic book fan. It was one of my hobbies as a youngin. Even though Tintin is, I think it's very good, but I like things like Asterix or Lucky Luke much better, and it's something like Le Petit Spirou that to me is a artistic masterpiece. But still, I personally value comics as a true art form. 1.55 million when people are dying of hunger again, and this connected with $5 or $6 million cars and all this. Our world is totally twisted. It's all I can say. This is perversion. So I guess shortly, few things from the world. I guess most importantly, my deepest condolences for the death of Anas al-Baza in Aleppo. I understand that he was a great guy. Then this is a few days old, about the oil pipes in Canada. So unfortunately I've had to make up my mind. Okay, Justin Trudeau, he's an asshole like all the other modern prime ministers. Total asshole. Saudi Arabia's terrorist rehab, actually a secret radicalization program. Guantanamo prisoner claims. The Independent, well, again, a pinch of salt, but one would have to say at this point, oh really? Australia passes bill to detain terrorists indefinitely. MSN.com reporting. And again, I would love to have a channel, to Australia to find out what the heck is going on. But again, I'm pretty close of making up my mind that Australians are dickheads. But this again, this terrorist crap, a continuation. French man sentenced to 2 years in prison for visiting pro-ISIS, that's Scottish websites, The Verge reporting, and I read more about that. I mean that it is, of course, human rights groups have been against this very controversial law that this travesty is based on. But I guess it has to be my next strand about all this crap. But both of these, let's hope I can just refer to these the next time, and I don't have to read more of this stuff. Uh, but now I have to. Suddenly, this became an issue, perception, because of this, and I cannot help it. It's our dear sisters and brothers in the Chelsea Manning country. They continuously they come up with with this insanity, and again, since you have access to all the information, one has to take the examples there because you actually have some information. But it was this latest stunt by Donny Tiny Hands. When oh bummer! Now I'm not sure where the carrier plant is. Oh, for goodness sake! It's one of the MI and then something place. Me. Well, anyway, anyone who knows. Okay. But I had again, and I'm not United Stasian. I have nothing to do with it. But I had already seen Democracy Now! Interview of Bernie Sanders, and I knew that Bernie Sanders was going there because they were gonna lay out 2,100 workers close to plants, and then suddenly a few days after, or perhaps just 24 hours after this news breaks, that Trump has reached, or his people have reached some sort of a great agreement with the owners of Carrier, and that 1,000 jobs are going to be saved, and I mean right away when then Cenk Uygur did a commentary on it. He's just read this headline and then he had to say that this is something that Obama could never have done. And I mean, I understand his point about, but he started give credit where credit is due, and he gave credit to Trump for doing this. I immediately commented that, and I mean, obviously 100 and 1,100 jobs are still gonna be shipped to Mexico or somewhere, and these incredible incentives are given to the company, and Sanders was just going there because I would say that the Chelsea Manning country, it is a fighting ground between Donny and Bernie at the moment, and to me the most important, because old Tiny Hands said many things on the campaign trail. So to me the most important aspect of this, when they suddenly reached this silly agreement with Carrier, it was to take some of the wind out of the wonderful Sanders' sales. I thought Sanders, it was a masterstroke to do this book at this very moment and get this particular, the obvious book tour that always follows any autobiography, to do, to time it at this very point, on the off chance that it happens to be Tiny Hands who wins. I mean, it was a masterstroke. I love the man, Bernie. I mean, and I thought that it was not just a brilliant move politically, but I thought it was as a game wise, professional game wise. I thought it was an interesting parry towards Bernie Sanders, but I mean, I thought it was absolutely dreadful. I think there were so many headlines about Trump saving 1,000 jobs. I was really scared that we're going to have these headlines in Europe, but thank goodness I hate Trump enough so that we didn't. Again, we could have, if they, we could have had these headlines. Because, of course, after all, I mean, again, you don't know how it may be less than 1,000 jobs that are now saved, and if they actually ship those jobs abroad, let's say a few months after Trump has become president, nobody really cares anymore. So, and as far as how much it's gonna cost to the taxpayers in the Chelsea Manning country, this is a scam. It's the same kind of thing that you first you win $50, and then you are lured in to pay much more. I mean, this is a traditional scam, and the headline it's exactly the same. If you would have the traditional scam, if you wouldn't say anything afterward, and you just would have the headline that this, obvious con artist, that this man has, or this organization has given this person $50 for nothing. Yeah, it seems pretty good if you don't follow it through. So this was a obvious and traditional scam, but most of the time the headline was Trump saves 1,000 jobs. And as I said, perception. If when the headline, if you don't know the details, or if you don't, if you think you don't know enough, then write nothing, say nothing, don't do a headline. But basically, the headline with any knowledge of the con game, the headline should have been Trump tries a huge, a traditional con. That would have been the correct headline, not Trump saves 1,000 jobs. And I'm just saying this. Again, as one of those reasons which I think that mankind's totally doomed. I don't think we're going to survive for very much longer. Is this kind of a thing that it doesn't, that things in no way are they talked in I don't know, in real terms anymore. They're just headlines, unresearched, not really connected to reality. And then when people are partisan, I mean, somebody may take, if the headline is that somebody saves 1,000 jobs, somebody can take that and defend it until they're blue in the face. But the fact remains that, in the long run, of course, like during the last 40 years, ordinary people, the middle class, lower classes, especially the lowest 30%, get totally and utterly screwed over. And again, I don't see any correction coming to this perception, to this wrong perception of everything. I do think, I cannot help it. I feel we are lost.